What's up, Internet? This is the fourth episode of the 777 podcast. I'm going to be mixing it up today, and I'm getting ready for Sober October. Joe Rogan and some of his friends had started this a couple years ago, and they basically just go the whole month of October completely sober, but they add in this sort of competitive exercise routine, and they have winners. They actually made like a UFC type of like Sober October belt that Joe, of course, won because he's a maniac. But I'm not going to do, I might do a little bit, but my main focus is just taking a step back from any and all types of drugs. Because in my mind, if you can't go a week without doing anything, and I mean, alcohol, booze, any type of psychedelic or anything that alters, even coffee. Coffee, people don't think that it's a drug, but it's certainly a stimulant. And I'm going to do my best to completely take a step back from all that because I'm going to be 30 in October, and it's just getting to the point that I think that it's best to try to give your body just a chance to be in its normal state. It's really important to do that, and the way I'm preparing for this is basically I'm just exercising my willpower, something I've never done in my 20s. Never once. I've never exercised and forced myself to do too much that I didn't want to do, and that's a big key that's going to get me through this, and that would get anybody through this. Is just once you make up your mind, you get all excited in the beginning, and you're like, I'm going to do this, and there's no one that's going to stop me, and this is going to be great. And then you get, like for me, when it starts getting dark out, that's when I want to go and get some drinks, get some beer, because that's just the time that I like to drink. With the alcohol especially, that's got to go. It's getting to the point where I can't drink the night before and not only do I feel like I'm hungover, but the lining of my stomach is so inflamed. It's so pissed off at me. And it wasn't like that in the very beginning, when I first started drinking it. I don't know, like probably 20 or something, when I really started, drinking consistently. So the alcohol for sure has got to go. I've smoked pot since I was 14 years old. It's gone through cycles, but I didn't really start smoking a lot of pot until about a year ago. And there's something physiologically that's changed inside myself with that as well, because there's too much going on in my mind. And when I smoke pot, it's more often than not that it just makes me kind of feel super anxious, and certain things that I've done, you kind of open doors in your mind, and once certain doors are open, you can't close them. So the pot is kind of has to go. And I haven't really been smoking pot for a few months. I've just a couple times here and there, not like it used to be. It's not like a crutch. So the alcohol, the marijuana, various other drugs that I won't discuss, but I had really seriously tried to do this last year, and I failed miserably. And I just remember how disappointed in myself that I felt. And that's when I realized this is a problem. This is an issue. And if I can't go a couple days without doing anything, especially a week, if you can't go a week, that's a problem. And it's not that I don't want to. I'm sure many people want to be able to just lay off the sauce a little bit and just let your body recuperate. But it's, your baseline state of mind is just so declined, and physically you feel like shit. So you turn to anything that will make you feel better. And, you remember when you drank or when you smoked and you felt great, and your body remembers, how much endorphins that was released, and you remember that. So I encourage anybody to, you don't have to do the Sober October, you don't have to do a whole month, but look at your own behavior and like, well, am I drinking too much, or am I smoking too much, or am I doing this or that a little bit too much? And there's nothing wrong with drugs. I'll argue with anybody forever who disputes any type of drug use. And I'm not saying everybody should be doing drugs, but a responsible adult who doesn't let that get in their way to just get things done throughout the day, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think it for sure enhances life. And using drugs for sure can enhance life, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. But there are situations in periods in life where you need to be self-reflective and really critical on your own behavior, because more often than not, drugs and alcohol will affect your behavior in a negative situation and make you say or do something that you normally wouldn't do if you were sober. So I can go on and on about it, many reasons about trying to kick the habit, but that's really what it comes down to is breaking bad habits and exercising your will. And when you get to those, it usually only lasts for like 10 minutes for me. And when you get to those moments where you want to break, that's key. That is key, and you need to exercise your will to push yourself through that. It's an impulse. It is an impulse that we all have, some worse than others, but since we were children, that never gets checked. That has never been put in check until you're an adult, and it is allowed to get out of control. Not for me. I'm not going to let this get out of my control and ruin my behavior and ruin my relationships and stop me from progressing forward as a person. Again, there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff. If you're a drinker, you like drinking, more power to you. But for me personally, 30 is a big age, and I want to know in my heart that at the age that I'm at, I have the self-control. And if I don't want, this or that, then I won't do it. I can't tell you how many times I've been offered something and I didn't really want it, but I did it anyway. I did it anyway because it's just an impulse. It's an impulse, and God damn it, those impulses can get out of control and can get you in a lot of trouble real quick. So again, I encourage anybody to try just a week, or if you want to do Sober October with me, I'm going to be documenting and probably doing like a weekly update, and then I'll do like a final video at the very end of like what I learned, because life is a journey, and I think you learn a lot about yourself when you're clear-headed and you're at your baseline, right? So you're going to hear more about this. Again, I'm going to do weekly updates as October rolls around. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening.